You know, in this video, I want to talk to you about HMOs, how it's not really HMOs, it's multiple units, and how you can set it as a benchmark for other strategies like new builds, flat, developments and other conversions to residential as well. I also want to talk about the profits that are involved. Also going to tell you, and you're going to learn about how, all the mistakes that people make, and like what are the things that people like are scared to make a move into this sector, and all the lucrative things they're missing out on because of that. Why use HMO? So HMO stands for houses of multiple occupation, meaning that normally the rooms are all separated and they're rented out on a singular basis. I remember when I was actually 15 years old, I was working for a building company that were actually renovated them. I didn't even know what a HMO was then. I remember we were just building across 4 floors, all these different rooms. There was a kitchen on each floor. Now, if I'd have knew what I knew now, back then, it would have been a different story, and I think I would have got into this ASAP. Yeah, because this, we're talking like, 20 years ago, and since then there has been so much development done in this, what people call HMO. Now, we've actually evolved the strategy, myself, my partners, and people in the real life tribe. We've evolved this to like multi-unit. Yeah, because it's not like the traditional way to do a HMO was just like put a lock on the door and put a bed in the room, yeah, and have a shared kitchen. Yeah, those days are long gone. I feel for the people who still want to try and do that, because you'll really struggle getting your rents out there. If you just take a look across any of our pages, any of my pages on social media, you'll see some of the designs and some of the things that we've done. We really took it to the next level. So we're talking about multiple units just within one building. We're talking about taking pubs, old houses. The bigger houses, the old Victorian houses, are great because we can get more rooms out of them and there's more space, and we can put communal areas in them as well. Actually, even working right now on a cluster for students, which is classed as HMO, for 110 units, but it's going to have game rooms, it's going to have cinema rooms, it's going to have a gym, it's going to be totally amazing. So why HMO? HMO is a great way to earn higher cash flows. It's also a great way to build like your commercial status as well. So based on commercial lending, a lot of the times where we'll buy a house residentially, we convert it into a HMO, we do it to licensing standards. Sometimes there's Article 4 areas, which if you don't know what that is, go and subscribe to this channel and check out the videos around Article 4. I've done some before. And what these are opportunities now to run as a business, like it's a real business, and we're getting commercial lending, especially some of the big ones that we've done. Some people are doing 4, 5, 6 bed HMOs, but as soon as you start going 7, 8, 9, 10, even 17, and I know some people in our community, they've got like 24 units and all the rest of it. So what it comes down to is this is also like a benchmark you can set for yourself in your own property investing journey to get cash flows. So some people, they want to leave their job so they can focus on property full time. This is a good strategy for that. But also, I'll tell you one of the main things about HMOs, for the people that do it properly, that is like you've got to build a team. So the great thing about this strategy is it almost forces you, like I say, only if you're doing it properly, to build a team. If not, you're going to be running around like a crazy headless chicken. Yeah, because you've got to have a team in place to be doing the projects, managing the projects, and then managing the rooms. They may be higher turnover than the usual buy-to-let of tenants. So you may see like 6 months, 12 months turnarounds for people who are contracting versus a buy-to-let. You may have someone for 20 years that live in there, or 10 years or something like that. So there is more management, but that means we can add more value to more people. We can provide more jobs, we can provide more work as well, because these are some great things. So what are people scared of when it comes to that HMOs? One of the things I've heard recently, especially people who have been following us on social media and watching us, is like, oh, you can go into negative equity because you're going to buy a property, you're getting a really high valuation, you're taking a new remortgage and refinancing, so now you're going to be in negative equity. What are you talking about negative equity? I mean, there's 2 things about negative equity. Number 1 is when the market valuations change, normally it's only the residential market. If it's a business, we are valuing it based on the rental income. And if there is a value across the board when it comes to buying houses. So the house prices are dropping. It's because people are not buying houses. So there's no demand. There's less demand, which means the prices drop because people are not buying. Well, what are people doing when they're not buying? Tell me. What are they doing? They're renting. So this makes this business and this side of it even more lucrative and even more beneficial to people because people need places to stay. Yeah, that's one side of it. The other side of it is this negative equity thing is only a problem if you're forced to sell it anyway. And with the rent, like in any down times, yeah, or any crash or whatever, people are going to like renting, the demand just increases even more. So this whole thing of negative equity is a load of garbage. You know, it's excuses why people don't get into the game, and for other people, they're associating other circumstances where people have had properties repossessed. And again, this only happens when it's not set up as a business and done properly in the first place anyway. Before I tell you about the mistakes, the good thing about HMOs, and my experience and many other people as well, it's a great benchmark to now move into other strategies, because the principles of being able to buy a property, convert it, renovate it, make it worth more, so there's a higher valuation, is now then like going into that world of development. So to use the same principle to now go buy land, make it worth more and either sell it or rent it out, or go and buy commercial properties and go convert them into other like residential type properties, is like I've already started to get that commercial lending experience, and I've also got the project management, whether I used a project manager or I just overseen it or I was in the face of it myself. I've now got that experience to go to another level when it comes to more what people perceive as complex developments. The only reason it gets complex if you want to continue to do it by yourself. But again, because with HMOs, running them efficiently, you've got to build teams, you know, the money lending teams, the management teams of the continuation of your maintenance of the portfolio, then it's easier to make a move into development, new builds, flat conversions, you know, residentials, apartments, and all of that good stuff. Some of the mistakes that people are making, and one of the main mistakes that I was making massively in the beginning, is on the valuations. Because if your strategy is to like grow aggressively and you want to buy as much property as possible and do as many of these awesome jobs as you want, you've got to be able to make sure that you get the valuations on the back end, on the refinance. So some of the things that we did not do in the beginning, and the mistakes that people make, is that they don't get any proposed, we call it like a prop valuation, they don't get any proposed valuation in the first place to say, well, when it's done, what will it be worth? Yeah, because you need to use that as like a benchmark to say, well, yeah, it is going to increase that much, so I'm creating a big gap. And by the way, this whole gap and how these HMOs work, there's another video I've done on this channel, so subscribe to this channel. Go check out the other video of how to get paid to own a property, because there's an example in there which is a multi-unit example, and you'll see how to like all the numbers stack and how you get paid to own properties. I mean, how cool is that? You get paid to own it. Another one, a mistake, is like the project costs. Yeah, either people don't manage the project properly, so the costs go spiraling out of control, or what they did in the beginning is they went cheap. And I want you to like write this down and drill this into your head. Like, cheap is not cheap. Cheap but not cheap. Because what happens is you go in cheap. What does this mean? This means that you're either trying to do it by yourself, you're doing the work yourself, you want to do the rip out yourself, you want to do the decorating yourself, you're doing the furnishings yourself, you want to get a builder that's, you know, doing like giving you a low cost. So what either happens is they're going to do a low quality job, or they're going to start adding things on so they can actually do the job properly. I own a construction company myself. I know how this works. We've done multi-million-pound property developments. We've built new houses. You know, we've got a lot of experience, and I also know from doing this is in myself, I have gone with builders that offer me cheap price, and I've gone for cheap stuff, and it's not cheap. You think it's cheap, but it's not in the long run, especially after 2 or 3 years down the line with the maintenance and the things that can start to then surface because it wasn't done properly, it ends up costing you more money. So don't try and get it cheap now thinking you're saving money, and don't think you're going to do it all yourself to save money, because it will drive you crazy. You're putting loads of hours in. What profit are people looking to make here? Again, I've done many videos on this channel, so make sure you subscribe to it and turn on the notifications, because we're always doing these type of videos. And also put it in the comments. Let me know any questions or any other videos or any other information that you want. My idea here is to give away as whatever it is you like for free, and I want to provide you with more value than what you would normally go and pay for anywhere else for free. That's what I want to do. So let me know what it is you guys need. But the profits in this multi-unit thing here is the world is your oyster. But if we're looking at like units from 5, 6, 7, 8 bed HMOs, we're easily looking to clear a minimum of 800. If you stack the numbers, how we teach people to stack the numbers, then a minimum you want to be taking 800 per month cash flow. This is like net profit after all your expenses, right up to £2,000 per month net. I'm talking about. If we're starting to go into some bigger multi units, then we start making 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 pounds a month, depending on the size of it and depending on the location and some other factors as well. But this is a good benchmark for you to start. I mean, how many would you need for you to have that security? Yeah, would you need 1, 2, 3 giving you £1,000 a month? To get you going, or at least give you the time to go and work on what it is that you love doing, or go into property full time, like, you know, hundreds of people that we have taught. That's what they do. They go into it full time. So look, check out some of the free resources that we've got to help you find deals, raise money, and just get around awesome people and get around a community of people that can answer your questions, help you, support you, love you, give you the encouragement. And if you need anything, you reach out to us and you let us know.